Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to the video. I hope everybody's day is going great. Today we got a really good video for you guys. And then after, we're going to cover all the games from yesterday. Stage 3 playoffs are over, guys. New York Excelsior, 2-time champions. What an incredible performance by them. We're going to cover exactly how we got here. And now, let's go ahead and hop into the video. Let's go ahead and move on to the games from yesterday, guys. Starting off with the LA Gladiators and Boston Uprising. So yesterday, we started off with the Los Angeles Gladiators and the Boston Uprising. I was honestly really excited for this match. I thought it was going to be very close because every time Boston Uprising plays, it's a close match, especially if it's a team at the level of the Los Angeles Gladiators. My prediction going into this was 3-2 in the favor of Boston Uprising, but I was way off, man. The Boston Uprising, they came to play. The LA Gladiators honestly didn't put up much of a fight, which was kind of disappointing. I mean, overall, all of the games are really disappointing. None of them were close. The first map in this set, Junkertown, was really the only one that went down to the end, and it still wasn't even the end. The Boston Uprising won with over a minute left in their bank, but sadly that was the closest and most entertaining map of this set. So yeah, we started off on Junkertown. It was an exciting map. There was a lot of huge diva bombs, a lot of nice snipes, good tires. Both teams rolled really hard on their attack until they got to the last point, and then they both struggled to push it all the way to the end. Boston Uprising, though, like I said, they capped it with a minute left and they went up 1-0. We then moved on to Ilios, and this wasn't close at all. Boston Uprising, they were the clear favorites. Striker was playing very well, hitting pulse bombs, one-clipping the enemies, and it just really went downhill for the LA Gladiators on Ilios. It was a 2-0 victory. Boston Uprising went up in the series 2-0 as well, and we moved on to Anubis. We all know what happened on Anubis. LA Gladiators, they got first held, albeit Boston Uprising struggled a little bit on their attack, but they still ended up capping with over a minute, and they took the series 3-0. And that was it. We only got 3 maps instead of 4, because it's a different format. We're now doing best of 5 instead of just 4 maps straight, like the regular season. And Boston Uprising, they moved on to the finals very easily. It was a quick match. It was over very fast, so they didn't really have to worry about overplaying today and draining themselves out before they got to the finals. Boston Uprising definitely wouldn't have burnout as an excuse for losing today. And this also gave them a really good opportunity to go sit back, relax, watch the New York Excelsior LA Valiant game, size up their opponents for the finals, and get ready. So then we moved on to the second semifinal of the day, New York Excelsior, LA Valiant. And this set was almost a mirror of the LA Gladiators and Boston Uprising set. I thought LA Valiant would have a chance to get at least one map, although it wasn't likely because New York Excelsior hasn't lost one to them yet in the league. But it was the playoffs, and you know, anything can happen in the playoffs. I thought LA Valiant would really be under fire and they'd want to show up, and they could at least pick one up. That was not the case though. We started off on Junkertown, and like I said, this match was very similar to the first one. There were some differences, but overall the result was the exact same. On Junkertown, LA Valiant, they started off on attack first. They were rolling, just like the Boston Uprising, just like the LA Gladiators. They got stopped, and they weren't able to really get anything done. It seems like it's really easy to snowball those first 2 points on Junkertown, but if you can't win that next snowball fight on the third point, you're gonna get held for a long time. There's so many really good spots for the defense to set up on, and it makes it impossible to get positioning over the other team to flank. You have to really rely on huge diva bombs or huge tires or a widow pick. And New York honestly just wouldn't budge. Their defense was amazing. Oh, and they had this beautiful stall on Fate when he was playing Orisa. Usually we just see divas get staggered, but this was next level from the New York Excelsior. Let's go ahead and roll this clip. If you guys haven't seen this yet, take a look.
Just when you think the Valiant is about to get some traction, self-destruct comes in.
And now it's just cleanup on the payload. One more time for the New York Excelsior Doa.
I mean, Neko's time on NYXL is basically Adventures
Look
in
at
Navy
this
City.
delay.
What a delay on the Fate, too.
This is ridiculous. How often times do you see an Orisa stall
I
here?
have never seen that before.
And they don't care. I mean, they'll let
Wow.
like Fate charge that supercharger.
Yep.
Because they've been committing to this Orisa so hard at one.
Yep, never seen before. The first team to start staggering Orisas. And as Monty said, they really don't give a crap about giving charge over to Fate for the bongo, because they're really just focusing him down hard in fights, so he's either going to die quick, and once he gets it, usually doesn't matter, because what a lot of teams are doing right now is throwing their diva bomb kind of to disengage it. 100% will kill it every single time. And usually you're going to get guaranteed kills with diva bomb when you're going up against Orisa. You have to just be smart about the shield cooldown and you're good. Also, the angles on Junkertown are just amazing for diva bombs, specifically that third point, arcing it over the high ground. There's nowhere really for supports to hide. If you're caught in the middle when it gets thrown, you're basically going to die if your Orisa doesn't put a shield on top of you. And that's highly unlikely because in this meta with Orisa, you just have to spam your shield on cooldown basically 24/7, or you're risking getting hooked, one of your teammates getting hooked, something dumb will happen. Widowmaker will one-shot your supports, just so many things, and that's exactly why we've seen a whole bunch of awesome diva bombs, especially on that third point yesterday. So yeah, LA Valiant ended up getting held on that third point. New York Excelsior, they won on the attack, and just like every other team so far, they rolled all the way to that third point. But they were the first team to not really struggle on that third point. They lost, I think, one team fight. Other than that, though, they took it very easily, went up 1-0. It was a complete stomp on Junkertown, and we moved over to Ilios. And actually, Ilios was probably the best map out of these first two sets. It definitely delivered. It was back and forth the entire time. Agilities looked really good on the Pharah. Bunny was in there on Tracer. First round was 99-99. New York Excelsior, they came out clutch, and the same thing happened on the second round. It honestly was shaping up to be SBB's night. He was playing so damn good, especially on Ilios. I mean, every map. You'll see. We'll talk about it in the Boston Uprising set more. And yeah, in very close fashion, New York Excelsior, they won Ilios, putting them up 2-0 in this set, going on to the very last map, Anubis. LA Valiant, the pressure was on. They needed to make something happen, and they did the exact opposite. They made nothing happen. Seems like the pressure maybe got to them. They just couldn't get it done. And actually, a lot of teams lately haven't had a good time attacking that first point on Anubis. Near like the end of stage 3, we've been seeing a lot of first holds on Anubis, way more than ever before, and way more than any other 2CP map. We honestly hardly ever see any first holds on 2CP. We hardly even ever see second point holds on 2CP. Usually both teams can get both points capped at least one time, and then we go into bonus rounds. But interestingly enough, that hasn't been the case with Anubis lately. It seems like a lot of teams are realizing if you just play smart, position yourselves in the right spots, don't give up any picks to the offense, you'll give yourself a really good chance at holding it because there are a lot of health packs you can play around, the high ground's really good, and with all the mobility on the team, Winston, Diva, Mercy, Widowmaker, Tracer, whatever you're running, Genji, you can usually get back and forth from each high ground, kite the enemy team, use LOS. It's really good. You just can't give up a pick to the Widowmaker on the other team. Regardless though, LA Valiant, they couldn't do it. And New York Excelsior cruised by 3-0 victory, moving them on to their second playoff finals in a row, defending their championship against the Boston Uprising. And thank God this set was really close because the first two were bummers. I know overall the score doesn't look that close. It was 3-0. But technically it was 3-1-0. 4 maps were played, 1 was a draw, and I don't know if I missed them explain how this was going to work, but I figured after that draw on Volskaya, the set was over, because there would be no way for Boston Uprising to win. Isn't that how a best of 5 works? Once a team is up 2-0 and then you draw a map, that makes it unwinnable for the other team? I mean, they could tie it up, but it's a best of 5, which I mean, best of 5 is the first to 3. I was a little confused as to how this was going to work. I thought it was over as soon as New York Excelsior drew on Volskaya, but I was wrong. I guess they would have threw a game 6 in there, and that would have been definitely really interesting to see. Unfortunately, though, we didn't get to see that. So we started off on Route 66, and Pine, he made his debut. And he was doing work, man. Pine played great today. Shout out to him coming back from his hard times during Stage 2. Now in Stage 3, he's been a huge part of the New York Excelsior success. And this is where Sabiobi just made it clear that today was his day. Oh my god, I can't say anybody else is the best tracer in the league besides Sabiobi. He really did come to play, man. He put up. This was kind of the moment I was waiting to see from him. Like, could he do it in the clutch? Could he be Michael Jordan? Could he be Tom Brady? That's why I was always so high on Prophet, is because I seen him go clutch in the biggest moments possible, and Sabiobi proved that today. He is the guy. He is number 1, hands down in the league right now. Just what an incredible performance, man. I can't stop talking about it. Let's get into the maps before I keep rambling on about SBB. So we started off on Route 66. It was really close. New York Excelsior, they blazed through that first point, but after that, they started struggling, and it was a lot of back and forth fights. Pine had some really good flanks, picked up some kills. SBB, he went off, had multiple like 1v2s, huge bombs. They finally secured the point, though, after struggling a bit. And on third point, again, more of the same, back and forth team fights. Boston Uprising got the hold down, though, near the end. It was kind of the typical Route 66 battle, where it honestly is just back and forth and neither team can snowball. It was the same thing for Boston Uprising. They struggled a little bit on the first point, they struggled a little bit on the second point. By the time they got to third, they didn't have too much left on the clock. And New York Excelsior, they won the first map, went all the way down to that very last team fight. Again though, Sabiobi, I'm gonna mention it multiple times throughout the set. The guy just came up clutch. Every team fight that they needed to win, the very last one of a map, he popped off. So New York went up 1-0 in this set. We moved on to Nepal, and it was 200 points to 198 points. It was so damn close, man. Boston Uprising on the first round, they ticked all the way up to 99. New York Excelsior, they retook the point, and then they ticked all the way up to 100%. Nepal was super exciting to watch because we got to see Village and Shrine, two interesting maps where we always get different types of comps. One team was running tanks, one team was running a mixed sort of dive. Then on Shrine, we got the Orisa comps, Junkrat. Wait, Shrine? What the hell am I talking about? I mean Sanctum. That's the tank map, the inside one. My bad, guys. It was just super exciting. It seemed like New York Excelsior did have the edge when it came to ult economy on this map, and that's why on the 99-99 team fights, they always had the ult advantage. And New York, they went up 2-0 in the finals. I still did have faith in the Boston Uprising though, because they've come back multiple times down 0-2, and I was also just praying, please give us a game 5. Don't let this go 3-0, please. And Volskaya was very exciting. Just like the first two maps, it went down to the end. We saw Libero in there on the Widowmaker. He was popping off. It's actually really surprising how 2 finals in a row, Libero pulls the Widowmaker out of basically nowhere. He didn't play it all regular season long, and he dominates. He had this really sick 3K on the first point, but that wasn't the story of this map. It wasn't the story of the set. Sabiobi, once again, this guy, oh my god, that clip where he got the 3K, oh gosh, SBB, it was his time. This map didn't go in New York's favor though. As I said, it was a draw, and this is where I got a little bit confused. I thought it was over. There was no way for the Boston Uprising to win this set other than drawing it, I guess, so they would throw an extra map on that, which I think is how it was going to work, but that wouldn't be the case. We went on to New Bonnie, another extremely close map. It looked like Route 66, it was back and forth. Neither the defense or the attack looked better, and it went all the way down to the last team fight. I mean, it didn't go to map 5, it wasn't, you know, score-wise as close as we would have liked it to be, but the gameplay was really good. It was very good, high level from both teams. New York Excelsior just had the edge today, and I do think a big part of that was because of SBB. I don't want to say he was a one-man wrecking crew, but he was at certain points, and a lot of those points came at really big moments when they just needed somebody to frag out, or they would have possibly lost the map. So that's why I'm giving so much credit to Sabiobi in this set. Everyone played great though. Pine looked good on Numbani as well, and obviously the whole entire roster is just completely stacked. You have Jonak, Ark, Mano, Mako. Like, come on, Libero. They're so good. It's impossible to take credit away from any of them. And that was it, man. New York Excelsior, they were the Stage 3 champions back-to-back. Now looking to go back-to-back-to-back and maybe back-to-back-to-back-to-back, whatever, and winning the overall championship. That would be amazing for them. At this point, though, I just don't know who's going to stop them. I think something I failed to realize was that last time Boston Uprising played New York Excelsior and Boston beat New York Excelsior, they had Dream Casper. And Mistakes, you know, he's a good support DPS player, but Dreamcast was an animal, man. That guy was a fragger. I mean, he's an animal more than one way, you know. We won't get into that. Screw that guy. But honestly, if they had a player at that caliber, I think Boston could have won this set. Just another hard-hitting fragger like Striker is kind of what they need. And I don't know if there's any other team that can stand up to the New York Excelsior unless Lud and Spitfire get back to full strength and stop slumping. No one's going to stop them. Literally, no one is going to stop them. Fortunately, though, there is still a decent amount of time till Stage 4 playoffs and the overall playoffs. By the time that comes, who knows what teams are going to be good. Clearly, the league is very sporadic. Any team can pick up pace at any time. So we're just going to have to see, man. Congratulations to New York Excelsior one last time. Sabiobi just made a huge case for himself to be the MVP. And that's it for me, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow, or maybe later tonight. Peace.